Bolarinwa and Nnwanne. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Lagos.
How's the traffic on your way here?
Nnwanne can speak to that. Nnwanne, you're in the Apapa area, Abi?
Morning, Lagos. Yeah, all I can see that tankers are back.
They're back.
Yeah,
It's nasty.
We'll find it around. We're always doing it.
It's a phenomenon.
Boy. Wow. Anyway, so the market yesterday, 0.8%. This is over a week now. I think the market has continued to be in positive territory. Top three gainers: Cadbury, Lasako Insurance, and Owando, all up in the 10% region. Top three losers: Equity Assurance, Medview Airways, and CNI Leasing, 9.09. 8.1, 9.96%. So as far as the market is concerned, hopping into things now, gentlemen, Mr. Dr. Doyin Salami, former member of the NPC, gave a presentation at the NASD, the Association of Security Dealers, National Association of Security Dealers. He gave an outlook. It wasn't very rosy. I think I shared it on Twitter. If I didn't, I'll check again and I'll retweet it. Oh, somebody actually tweeted me. Sorry, listeners of the program tagged me on Twitter and alerted me to it. I think I shared it already, but I'll do it again if we haven't, so our listeners can check it out. What did we think? His outlook wasn't very rosy for 2019. What do you guys? Think?
Yes, interesting perspective, and the insight was phenomenal. He looked at the 4 factors that will characterize the Nigerian economy in 2019. He listed out interest rates, trade, foreign investment, and diaspora inflow. Now, on interest rates, one thing he mentioned was he talked about the Fed hike in interest rates, which definitely is going to affect emerging market like Nigeria. Apart from the Fed hike in interest rates, he also listed other leading markets where interest rates are expected to move in the upward trajectory. What does that hold for us as Nigerians? The fact that interest rates in the US is going up means that emerging market instruments are going to suffer for it, because what will typically happen is the money tends to move in the direction of where interest rates are high and risk are lower.
Right.
And so that would mean that we are not likely going to see the expected recovery in terms of the magnitude that people are looking out for in the in the stock market, as we saw in 2015.
Okay.
And you recall in 2015, after the election, there was a huge rally in the market,
Right.
and that was largely driven by foreign portfolio investors that came back into the market. But now, if you weigh, if you look at the current environment vis-a-vis the events that are happening globally, especially in leading markets like the US, what you typically find is foreign portfolio investors will tends to lean more to buy instruments in the US,
Okay.
because of the high interest rates in that market, with a lower risk compared to the elevated risk that you have in a space like Nigeria. So he gave a strong warning that is going to affect Nigeria, and definitely that will definitely have effect on the external reserves and the currency, because if inflows are not coming from the FPIs, we know that those are hot monies, but again, at least it still cushions the effect on the external reserves for some period. So if those inflows are not coming in as expected, definitely the impact will be seen on the currency.
Okay.
He also talked about trade. For Nigeria, is a mono economy,
Right.
as it is. In terms of our trade, he highlighted the fact that the budget is predicated on an assumption of $61 to a barrel assumption, and also the fact that the output level used for the budget is, I think, 2.4 million barrels per day.
Right.
The current market doesn't support that assumption that was used in the budget. Oil price is expected to predicting that oil price will over between $58 and $55 per barrel. relative to the $61 per barrel that the government has used for the assumption, which means that there's going to be that gap there,
right.
In terms of revenue, and also in terms of output. OPEC is pushing for a production cut. Definitely that would spell a doom for us in two areas: output and price. Right. So which will create a huge gap in terms of the expected revenue by the government, and what they are way out there. The government will do more borrowing. Unfortunately, in the last two years, we've seen the government favor foreign borrowing above the local borrowing. So what that implies is that they want to do a lot of borrowing, foreign borrowing, but the market is not attractive, right, as it is, because the leading market instruments are more attractive than the Nigerian market. Just to quickly wrap it up, we talked about foreign investments. The truth is, the elevated risk in the Nigerian market will not make that investment inflow into the Nigerian space as attractive as we would have expected. So we are not likely going to have FDI, which is really what we have to drive growth in the economy, as we are looking out for. Diaspora inflow is where it sees opportunities again. In terms of volume, I think we do between about 26 or between 20 and 26 billion dollar per annum in terms of diaspora inflow. If the election turns out to be turns out to be to go well, what that speaks in terms of diaspora inflow is that it will be a positive. But if on the other side it turns out to be a negative one, then it will slow down that aspect.
Whew. So not very encouraged from Mr. Salami. Okay, since it's election week, Nnwanne, we have a plan here. I think it also involves money coming into the country. Mr. Kingsley Moghalu is running for office. He's made headlines when he said that if elected, he will raise a 1 trillion naira venture capital fund. The fund is directed at who? Artists and small businesses?
Yes, mostly to the creative industry. And we are looking at it, I think it's a 50-50 issue. Right. He wants to bring half, government to bring half. Okay. Private sector will bring half, sorry, then government will bring the other half. My own candidate, he wants to make a single digit
rate.
But it's a good idea. Maybe he wants to be through the creative industry to boost the economy. But he doesn't.
His plan.
The plans, I don't know. It's ambitious. I like the idea, but overall, there are one or two things.
Then we have to ask questions about.
I
mean, Bolarinwa has just finished talking about where we're going to raise money for. Where would he find 500 billion naira from to fund this particular?
Those are kind of funny questions.
It's a funny question.
Because if you compare the amount he's talking about to the budget,
right,
it's almost like
it's quite massive.
It's massive.
Bolarinwa, any thoughts on Mr. Moghalu's
plan? The funny thing is that there are intervention funds out there, but how effective are they? That's the question. So he's talking. This is more of an intervention fund, as it were, to the creative industry players. But the question is, the ones that we have, because before you are creating a new fund, you need to review what the performance is
of the existing one.
How effective have they been? What has been the impact? So I think that's where we should start the conversation from.
Not just
single digit rates. What's that question from Kewe?
Kewe says, please guys, you talked about federal government bond last week Monday. Please, where can I buy it?
Okay, yeah, that Kewe, it's the window has closed. It's the
savings.
Saving. That's the federal government savings bond, minimum of 5,000 naira. You actually just any of our brokers can actually assist you in getting it. Just download the form fill it out, and then your accounts can be debited for it. But it's open in the first week of every new month. So February's window, it closed last week. In March will open up. So the first week of March, I always make the announcement every month. You have another opportunity to buy into it.
All right, Chidi says perfect breakdown by Bolarinwa.
Hey,
where can one find the report by Mr. Doyin Salami?
I'll tweet it. Thank you, Chidi. I'll tweet it and we'll retweet it on the Smooth FM Twitter handle. So if you're following Smooth FM at Smooth91 FM, you'll see the YouTube video there.
And Aisha, you spelled Rotus'
Oh,
name
don't worry.
wrong.
I'm Rochas Okorocha. I'm governor. There's all types of spellings of my name. It's okay.
You get Rochas, Rotas.
Everything. Roaches, everything.
Roaches,
Everyone,
okay.
every example. It's
It's
okay.
Rotus, R-O-T-U-S. So Aisha says, he's Kingsley Moghalu the Venture Fund directed at Creative Industry or at Skill Learning. I'm fairly certain he said it was to help with skill centers and small businesses.
Yeah, he also mentioned that.
There was a small business aspect to it.
Right. He said he was going to build a skill center in all 774
local
governments. Up to people, what is the cost of doing such a thing?
That's why the amount involved
is there. Yeah.
That line.
Ha! Ambitious stuff. Ambitious. Thank you, Aisha. Okay, real quick, the FIRS, they are saying that they are going to sell properties of the 52 firms that are owing them, I think it's a total of 3.4 billion naira in tax debts. Gentlemen, what do we think? This is a move that they are making in order to try and recoup their money, yes?
Yeah, it speaks a lot to what Bolarinwa Doyin Salami said earlier about the fact that there's fiscal tightening and then there's monetary tightening. At the same time, government is constrained with revenue.
Right.
And then you have to generate it.
So if you're owing tax,
yeah, government will most likely be tough this time around.
Well, what do you think about what the FIRS is doing?
Hey, yeah, but it's a nice idea. People need to pay taxes, but again, they shouldn't just be emphasizing the payment of taxes. People will willingly pay taxes when they see what the money are used for. Unfortunately, most of these guys that they are going after provide virtually everything for themselves.
Right.
So why will I be paying taxes on things that are social amenities are not provided, and you still the encouragement is not there. So but that doesn't make it a normal and an appropriate thing that you fail to pay your taxes.
Right.
But the government also should be accountable. They should deploy the money accordingly.
Okay, Yinka, I saw your message.
Yinka,
always been a naughty person. Okay, the court MTN's case. Remember, they adjourned it from, was it December last year? It was adjourned to February the 7th, which was last week, and it was adjourned again to March. What was it? I think it's in March that it was adjourned to. This is on the tax again. We're still on March 26th. They've adjourned it to March 26th. So this is still on the matter of taxes. The Attorney General said MTN owed $2 billion in back taxes over 10 years. They didn't give a reason as to why it was adjourned. I'm guessing it's the elections, or the judge was not on seats. What was we don't know.
Most likely the elections.
Okay. So if anybody's wondering about an update on MTN's tax case, that one has been adjourned again for the second time now.
But you can be very sure that they will resolve this.
Well,
we are talking about MTN.
Exactly. Who, by the way, is finally said they are listing on the stock exchange by introduction. Yeah. Can we quickly, before you go off, explain what it means to list on the stock exchange by introduction?
Listing by introduction is more or less like existing shares,
right? So
from another exchange,
right?
To part of it, brought to another exchange,
right? So it's already existing shares being held by shareholders, and
exactly.
they're not introducing any new shares. Yeah. But they said maybe they'll introduce new shares later on this year. Yeah. MTN, they've tried though.
Is there an IPO in this?
No IPO. No IPO.
Right, so
that's
existing. It's old shares.
Right, exactly. Initial public.
Probably we'll see it now. Because if you did 2015,
hopeful. Fingers crossed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, exactly. Nnwanne and Bolarinwa, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for your messages as well. Much appreciated.
All right, Lagos, you're listening to Smooth Breakfast, and Business Express with Rotus continues on social media. Go on Twitter and tweet at him at Rotankwot.
Yes, ROTANKWOT. I'll tweet that. Doyin Salami this thing presentation. I'll tweet that today as well.
All right, we're listening to some nice tunes from Lighthouse Family, from Charlie Wilson, and to Ruby Gang. But then at 7:30, we'll bring you detailed analysis of our newspaper stories inside of Freshly Pressed 91. Good morning.
Business
Thank
Express.
you.
Every Monday to Friday at 6:45 a.m.